You're a bastard. I love you, but you're a bastard.
Here we are with Code Geass, episode 10. Last episode, episode 9, was Refrain, where we got a sort of a semi-standalone insert of Callan's life.
Doing a hand thing right now.
Oh, you're not doing the racist Macarena?
Whoa!
Hey!
What am I doing?
Hey, that's you from an earlier episode.
What's racist about that?
This is Macarena, but I'm pretending it's racism.
Oh. Guys, this is how good my memory is. I just live in the present, very much in the present, sometimes to the point that I don't remember the past.
We're gonna have to schedule time before recording these to review notes, I think, just to help with the memory thing.
Well, that's why that's why I always review the notes. Like, I know that in episode 9, I guessed that there was 12 wheels,
and
I actually counted none. Could be that I'm forgetting to count wheels, which doesn't really help the defense against me telling you how great my memory is or is not. Or my defense about being in the present.
So let's talk about the last episode a tiny bit. So we had our bit of a standalone insert, I guess, of Callan and her life, and the Black Knights are starting, and she's now a Knight of Justice, and her double life, and oh gosh, family drama and things.
I'm always hungry for secrets.
Oh, yep, and Millie being Millie.
Drug addiction.
Now, it was interesting now, in the time kind of like in between watching the last episode and now where we are here, it's kind of had me a bit of time to think and reflect about how my experience first watching that last episode was actually not terribly different, I guess, from yours. But now that I've seen it a bunch of times and I'm looking at it in this weird, bizarre middle ground of like knowing everything I know and yet seeing it through your eyes for the first time at the same time, there's kind of like this weird disconnect. But I remembered actually, no, that did seem a bit out of place when I'd first seen that episode. But now I look back on like, oh, this all makes sense. It's such a tragic backstory of life and all of that.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm totally good connecting to characters emotionally. My qualm with it was simply, this is out of the blue because you haven't primed me to make her a more notable character, even though that's what you're trying to do with this episode. It seems counterintuitive. And then secondarily, the whole episode could have been cut up into either the last 3 episodes where you do like drip marketing. You have one thing in episode 3 episodes back, 2 things
could have dripped it through previous ones,
and then I'm like, oh, I'm growing with this character instead of shoving it all into one, and then being like, she has a mom who has a drug addiction, she's a bastard child ish, and
this also, though, this kind of brings up a thought that I remember when one of the first times when I'd approached you about watching this show, which was years and years ago, and back when we still had our Sunday powwows.
Is that what we call them?
With Brandon and all of that, way back then.
We should text him and get a
see how he's doing? Right. So way back then, and I remembered when I was talking about it, it was kind of like, as much as I love this show, it does have a high-paced, high-octane editing style, which, particularly at that particular time, I had grown very frustrated and grew to actually really, really hate, because it was the thing of Hollywood movies where it's J-cuts every 20 seconds, which is obviously what the show's doing. It's doing J-cuts every 5 seconds, but I just remember...
Can you pause for a second and tell us what a J-cut is real quick?
A J-cut is where you hear an audio change, an audio edit, before you see the video edit. And that's one of the ways that this Code Geass actually does it brilliantly. Like, as much as it's kind of an editing style that I don't care for, because I really like the slow burn. But this show is actually kind of like, if you want a masterclass on J-edit, Code Geass is definitely it, because it's just like the way everything's cut together. It's like, how do you do that?
Can you also give us a little drip marketing on why you know that about editing?
We can go into that some other time.
You're a bastard. I love you, but you're a bastard. Back to the show.
That's the intro. That's the intro. I'm gonna totally edit that completely out of time to start the clip off with you calling me a bastard now. I have the power. I am supreme.
I did know that you were going to. Again,
I thought this would work. It doesn't work.
Not touching the table. I know that you're the editor behind these episodes, so I knew that you probably weren't going to put this in episode 9 necessarily. You might. I think it'd be really funny if you did. But anyway.
See, in any case, somehow I'm gonna have to pull all of this editing magic together. So yeah, J-Cuts. This show is super fast paced. It's not even my favorite type of editing style, but I like the story, and you know it does the J-Cuts very well if you're into that sort of thing. Which now I remember what it was, because that was gonna lead in. J-Cuts. All the high blah 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 blah.
Topeka no bega, but nope.
And with all of this fast editing, though, it kind of works to the shonen demographic of not adult males. What?
What?
Not adult males, younger adolescent. There we are, adolescent males. That's the word I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. I was like, not adult male. What are you talking about? Cut to sword, hand on sword, barely pulling blade. Cut to whooshing sword noise and image of 2 shifting backgrounds. Cut to blood splatter against a wall. Cut to death. See?
Anyway, so yeah.
So the Callan episode was terrible.
For a first time experience.
It's like being forced to eat beets and drink vinegar. You're like, I know that this is supposed to be good for me, and this is part of like growing up. Growing up being the following the narrative and being part of it, but it does not taste good.
As a not first time watching of it experience, it's kind of sits in like, oh, I remember this, and like, oh, it gets cheesy and weird at times.
You know what
anyway.
it's like? It's like Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid growing up and watching it on Toonami, and they had 17 episodes of Spirit Bomb.
Charging your attack.
What are you doing this episode, Goku? Charging a Spirit Bomb for another 3.5 weeks, even though this episode's supposed to go a course of the 20 minutes and I'm here. All right, Krillin, Destructo Disc. Whoa! Woo! Piccolo, can you help? I lost an arm, bro. Gohan, wee!
Anyway, moving forward with things.
I can't wait to see this episode.
Yeah, let's just jump right in after that giant preamble. My God. Let's begin with episode 10. And I should get a stand for this because this thing falls down all the time.
Just get tape.
Tape it to the table.
Yeah.
Jiboon, whoa!
Man, my butt would look really good in that outfit. Confident, not arrogant.
Stage 10, Guren dances.
What does Guren mean?
A Britannian? He looks too confident to be a spy.
The media guy wants to join the Black Knights.
Wonderful how the number of recruits keeps growing.
And it was simpler than I ever expected. The Japanese can't resist jumping on the bandwagon. They hear a well-grounded buzzword and off they go.
Hence the Knights for Justice Act.
Yeah, well, everybody loves a hero. And what better hero than a knight?
I kind of doubt that's what a real Knight for Justice would say.
You don't think so?
Yes, I was demoted from my position, in very much the same way that you were.
We have no intention of letting the situation end this way.
We have a lead that might help us find Zero. We'll be stationed in the Narita Mountains. Therefore,
Narita?
TheBlackKnights.com. Fill out this Google form and join them.
Aren't they?
We're a terrorist group.
I've never seen these.
Probably how this lot joined.
It wasn't easy to sign up with the BK. So that makes us special, huh? We're elite. I'm totally amped.
Those guys from Kyoto, they believe in us. They sent us this.
A completely made Japanese nightmare.
The Guren Mark II.
Did you check out the manual?
Here's the answer to your question.
Oh, sure. Hang on. I'll be right there.
Is this how it works?
First Tamaki and now Inoue and the rest are treating this like a party. Kyoto is backing multiple resistance groups, correct?
Yes, which means that we finally made it in. They know that we're worthy.
You are an optimist. The Guren Mark II is yours now, Colin.
Mine? But we have a lot more people now, and we can't afford to lose you. We need the Guren's defense to protect you.
You're a top-notch pilot. Besides, you have reason to fight.
Zero, we got some weird intel here from a Britannian who wants to join up with the Black Knights. This may be a trap to draw us out. I'd say even if we want to confirm the information, it's too risky to contact him directly. But news like this isn't something we can just ignore. What should we do?
This weekend we're going hiking.
What?
To the Narita Mountains.
We're doing a team building exercise this weekend. We're all gonna go for a nice long hike.
We're gonna go for a nice long hike where the Britannians are gonna go and assault the JLF.
Later that weekend.
Nothing to report. Right. The next scheduled report will be in 2 hours.
Of course there's nothing to report. This area is controlled by the Japan Liberation Front. No one can just stroll in.
Zero!
Relax. I only came to talk. I want you to ignore any unusual activity during your watch.
Sure, no problem.
Come on, it's your turn.
What's the rush?
No one can just stroll in here. Strolls in there.
Hey, why doesn't Zero just use the radio in his burai?
What do you suppose he meant when he said hiking?
Military training, right? Only with Zero in another location? Maybe we'll dig a hot spring.
Is that why we brought those excavators? Then hell, I'm all for it.
The day I've waited for has finally come, Cornelia. C2, what are you doing here?
I said that I would protect you, didn't I?
Aren't you overdoing it?
I've been wondering about something, Lelouch. Why are you Lelouch?
I don't have time to discuss philosophy with you.
You changed your family surname to Lamp Rouge, but you kept Lelouch, the name that was given to you at birth. How sentimental. You can't let go of the past.
Well, C2 swings to the other extreme, doesn't it? It's not a human name.
Lelouch, do you know why snow is white?
Hmm?
Snow is white because it's forgotten what color it's supposed to be.
All units are in position.
Understood. Euphemia will provide logistical support from G1 as planned.
What's that unit there, holding to the rear?
A reserve force with an 11 pilot.
What? You mean that's the Lancelot?
As a rule, numbers aren't permitted to operate nightmares, but that particular unit is an exception.
The second prince is the patron of that unit. We have no say over their personnel selection. But he said he wants them to have as many chances at real combat as possible.
Lucia's and Clovis's brothers, Lloyd's boss.
Our opponent is Cornelia.
Commence operation! You, the Japan Liberation Front. You who time has left behind. You who have forgotten basic human decency. You and your dream of
I kind of like that they still use trains to do mass logistics.
Transport.
Yeah.
We're under enemy attack! Yes, sir! The Britannian forces have completely encircled the Narita Mountains!
It's begun.
Huh? What the hell? You've got to be kidding, Zero! Those troops coming in have this whole area totally surrounded! There's no way out! Pulling this off isn't gonna be cheap! The price could be our lives! I knew it was insane to make you our leader! It should be me!
Our path of retreat has been cut off. If you think you can win without me, then shoot me!
What about Toto? Where is he? He's gone to Kyoto to get the custom burais. The 4 holy swords are traveling with him, too.
If they're on schedule, they should be returning soon, but
Toto won't make it in time. Prepare to send out the burais. We'll break the encirclement on one side and evacuate. We'll show them the Japanese spirit and pride. This is our moment of truth.
Run away.
I think he meant we're going to be fighting them.
However, until we obtain a list of their collaborators, we can't burn down everything with our aerial bombing.
The enemy is engaging our encirclement, and they'll try to break through at some point. From there, we'll be able to ascertain where their base is.
Our forces are divided into 3 fronts. The units led by General Dalton here, General Alex here, and Viceroy Cornelia here. As for our flanking forces,
It's enemy ECM. now, any resistance still remaining in Area 11.
We'll soon be finished.
Right! All preparations have now been completed! Black Knights, prepare to move out! We, the Black Knights, are going to launch a surprise attack on the Britannians from the summit of the mountain. And the intent of this operation is to capture Cornelia, second princess of Britannia. Our breakthrough route will be opened by the Guren Mark II.
Output confirmed. Wave surger levels ready and holding. Activating gauntlet now! It worked!
Turns around. I wish she just said, how unfortunate.
What's happening?
Alex and Dalton's units are getting wiped out!
Climb! Get to higher...
Take out the main force.
It's even more destructive than I anticipated. We did succeed in isolating Cornelia's unit, but we could have been a bit more accurate.
Emergency call from Carius unit.
What's wrong?
It's not the Japan Liberation Front. They think it's the Black Knights.
What? Then it's...
Zero! How dare he show up here? Zero!
Lord Jeremiah, you can't just abandon your post!
This requires drastic measures. If you want glory in life, then follow me!
Burn the bridges behind you and keep your back to the wall. Classical strategies remain effective ones, don't they?
Like Cortez burning all of his ships to motivate his men.
Face me! Come forward and fight Jeremiah Goodwald!
But I'm afraid I don't have time right this minute, Orange Boy.
Orange?
Look at it! I've never seen a nightmare like that before. Is it possible that the 11s have...
You think 11s are capable of such technology? This thing, is this what destroyed Carius' unit?
Sorry.
Damn it! The auto-eject! Don't you dare activate! I can still get Zero! I know it! I know I can still get him!
They're kept up with that, we would have had a kick-ass gangster in the microwave scene happen there.
Challenge me! Also known as come at me, bro. Nobles.
Oh, who?
Nobles.
Oh, what about?
They're just like,
oh,
if you don't like my leadership, kill me now. And they're like,
okay, dude. I mean,
just chill, because I don't want that on my conscience.
Kind of calling his bluff a little bit, or not necessarily calling his bluff, but just like, all right, if you think you can do, prove to everyone that you're man enough to be the leader.
Yeah. Live with me or perish with me. I don't like the line. It should just be the common colloquial, like, live together, die together, or, you know, live with me, die with me. Or the more modern, ride or die.
Yeah.
Would work because they're in mechs on wheels. Side note, a lot of wheels.
A lot of wheels?
Counted both sets of train scenes where they jumped out. Sorry, train and then city, where about 15 of them went by. It was really like 7 and 7. But there was 20 wheels.
There was more than 20 wheels.
I don't count doubles for mechs.
Okay.
So 20 wheel instances.
Okay. 20 instances of wheels.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
I don't count the doubles.
All right.
My estimate was 10. Got to get back on this wheel game.
So, yeah, everyone, all the Japanese people love the Black Knights, which has let them kind of go on without being reported. And I don't know if they've been mentioned in the show yet or not. I don't think so, but the Kyoto group has funded the Black Knights by giving them a whole bunch of military equipment.
Yeah, I don't know who the Kyoto group is.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen I don't think so. I don't think we've gotten anything.
Somebody is clearly funding them. Mm-hmm. Because it didn't show us a heist for them to get the Mark II.
I don't remember how they said they got the original Glasgow, the red Glasgow in like episode 1 and 2. I don't remember if they said how they got that.
That
or not,
they stole, I believe.
They think they stole it? Okay.
I think so.
All right. Is this a party?
Also, I just want to say, Zero's neck scarf is on
point.
It's like always just properly tucked.
Oh,
and
yeah.
his cape, always properly formed just in front of his feet and his neck.
Mm-hmm. He's got
very Dracula-like.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got a bit of a vampire thing going with that. Gold trim and...
I've been thinking about the Geass. It's like the assertion of your will on another's will is downright sadistic.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I've known before, but it's
I mean,
watching the intro and I'm thinking, and they're like, this is what's going on in the show, in case you've never seen the show before, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, that's downright sadistic.
Like even in this episode, just a really simple example of these two people for the JLF. It is a cause that they live and breathe and totally believe in, and they're on watch for all of these things, and he just comes in and says, pay no attention to anything happening.
These are not the droids you're looking for.
Right. I mean, that's just like a really simple and kind of, in scales of what we've seen so far, kind of a really simplistic and throwaway thing. But even that is just like, you have completely turned this person's everything upside down now because of that.
Well, I don't know if it's like in that moment, yes. I don't know if that carries forward because it's a single action.
Right, but he'd said, I don't know if it, I actually don't know this, but he'd said that ignore any unusual activity on your watch. So I guess that's the question, is like, is it just that watch, or is that every time he's on watch that he'll ignore unusual activity?
That's fair. Yeah.
So.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm actually curious which one of those it might be. Because both of them aren't that great, but one of them definitely has much worse consequences.
Yeah.
Now, they all go hiking, and Zero
Team building activities. Hiking.
Zero doesn't let anybody in on the plan of what's going on. Like, the only person that knows other than Zero what's happening is Ogi, and that's because Ogi's the one that told him the information of the thing. And even then, Ogi doesn't know the whole picture. So Zero's not telling anyone his plan. He's just making everyone do what he says. I don't know what you think about that.
You definitely can't have a plan leak if you haven't told it to anybody.
That's fair. Yeah. And I'm sure...
Also, who's he going to trust?
Right.
No one knows his identity. No one, like...
I didn't fully... It was something I thought was interesting, and now I'm realizing I didn't fully think that line through, because also if you just think about command structures in general, like if you're, especially like a soldier in a giant hierarchy, or even just say the corporate world or anything, like anytime you have these different things of like, you are a cog in a very, very complicated machine.
I'm not going to tell
everything needs to happen right. So it's like, do this. That's all you need to know.
I'm not going to tell my receptionist what we're doing in regards to a big merger that's going through.
Right, yeah.
She doesn't need to know. It's not something that she should be bothered with.
I still think it's interesting that the other people that seem higher up in the organization of things, like Colin or Ogi, he still doesn't really tell them anything either. So, yeah.
Episode 10.
Well, what about the excavators that they...
I don't really know what an excavator does. Like, isn't it dig?
Like, an excavator, yeah, digging.
It digs, okay, yeah.
So, it turns out that they weren't just excavators, though. Like, they were...
Yeah, they looked weird.
They were a radiant wave surger that basically, through microwaves, vaporized one of the water veins in the mountain to cause a giant landslide down the mountain. And just
the microwaves, I never caught that that's what it was. It was like a laser beam, I thought, of some kind. So, like, there's some things, like you mentioned about the guy.
It vaporized one of the water veins still.
Yeah. With Jeremiah, like, oh, microwave. And I'm like, it's red laser. No one has told me that that's a laser beam or a microwave. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was weird that he started bleeding. And I was like,
well, it might not be microwaves, but it's definitely some form of radiation, clearly, if it's causing the bulging of the metal that's clearly supposed to be really durable and tough and stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was because they didn't really tell us.
Right.
Which is fine.
I don't think they ever do, actually.
Which is fine.
It's just something you had to pick
it's
up
weapon.
as it
It's
goes.
red laser weapon.
Yeah, red laser weapon.
It's like red Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah!
And we were probably 5 seconds too short to get explodey insides on the insides of the inside. So, yeah. Second, they kind of hint at it, but they've never said it this explicitly, I think, but that the second prince is the patron of Lloyd, who's
Lancelot.
Yeah, who is the builder and monitor and tester of.
And we haven't really met him.
Yeah, yep, we haven't met him. We've not. I don't think we've. So actually, we've seen him in the show for maybe about 9 seconds, sitting down at the Clovis's funeral. But you had no clue that would have been him. But so yeah, he is somebody that we have, for all intents and purposes, not seen yet.
I'm gonna tell you this. There's a lot of things that I don't know about the future.
Right.
But I'm gonna make all my assumptions and assertions based on everything that I do know right now.
Sounds good. Makes sense. But
red laser weapon.
Yeah. So we have what did I write there? Oh yeah. So Toto and the four holy swords are coming in with Borais, who we've seen Toto do nothing but stand there like this with a sword in his lap or a sword at his side.
Than he does standing, but yeah,
he's
keeps
been
his eyes
sitting.
closed.
He's been sitting and glaring at a TV out of the corner of his eye. That's all we've really seen of him.
Also, the four holy swords sounds like a cool thing, and you didn't tell me anything about it.
Well, apparently there's this one. I already forgot the name because I don't speak Japanese, and it's all things. But they said there's some past events that he's clearly known for that we've not seen or know anything else about.
Right.
The scientists who were under Bartley experimenting on C2 were apparently in Narita, in the city below the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're having to evacuate because, damn, there's apparently the JLF has been right next door the whole time.
Yeah. Yep. That's part of the show.
So what do you?
I wasn't gonna say anything, but
what do you think?
It's stupid.
What do you think?
Hey guys, let's make a base. Oh yeah, that sounds good. Where should we make it? Right next to the enemy. Great. They'll never notice us building a base.
Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer.
Yes.
Maybe a bit too literally taken.
But how are you going to build this base? Either you were there first and they came second, which is possible but not mentioned.
Well, they said they relocated there recently, so JLF's probably been there for quite a while. If they've turned the entire insides of the mountain.
I don't remember hearing that. That's fine. How are they going to build this base? That's how I feel right now. That's how I feel about the plot of them being directly next door.
Well, all right. Made your point. I guess last question. No cat. You're not a cat this time. What do you see happening? What happened with Jeremiah? What's going on there?
Red laser weapon.
Right. You think that's the end of him, or do you think there's what kind of?
Sorry.
What do you see his arc have been?
His arc. What?
What has Jeremiah's arc been?
Well, it was revenge, and now it's possibly microwave.
Oh, it was the
dinners.
The fall. He was taking the
parade.
Taking the opportunity granted to him to seize power, and then all of that his 15 minutes in the limelight was then taken away, and he was thrown to the bottom. And so, in his lust for revenge, he's been smitten, smited, smote. That's the word I'm looking for. Smitten.
He's smitten with Zero. Is this gonna be one of those weird animes that you told me about that you watched in high school with your friend?
Oh, I'm sure there's probably fan fictions out there about that. I'm sure.
Okay. Anyway, moving back to revenge made him blind to. So a good warrior will run away when he knows he cannot win.
Fight another day.
Jeremiah did not do that.
Bit too heavy on the emotional driving.
This brings up a really great note. If you live at every whim of emotion, are you really living? Or are you simply at the whim of the winds of your emotions?
Such a profound statement. If you're at the whims of your emotions, are you at the whims of your emotions?
Who's in control of your life? Your circumstances?
Or you?
Or you? You gotta wait for the dramatic pause.
I did.
No.
Join us next time for episode 11. Dos. 2 ones.
It's blinking. 10 and 1.
10 and 6. Episode 16 next time.